Well, voters will cast ballots tomorrow in Tennessee's county primaries, and we're told interest is minimal.
Well, turnout is usually in the single digits for party primaries at the county level. But then later this year, though, voters return to the polls to decide who will represent them in our nation's capital. That race represents the political big league, attracting lots of attention and requiring lots of money.
News Channel 9's Drew Balea has taken a look at what's behind all that money. Drew, are there strings attached here?
Calvin, there's an old saying, money talks. And if that's true, big money donors do a lot of talking and politicians a lot of listening. So what does that mean for the voices of ordinary people like ourselves?
What we want, what we desire, we can get with money.
Cash, coin, checks, or credit. Politicians will take it any way you serve it up.
I think it's important that we know all that we can about our candidates.
CNN numbers show it cost more than $10 million to win a 2012 U.S. Senate race. In the House, the price tag for a seat was $1.6 million.
When I give you something, I want you to give me something in return.
Elected officials like to say their decision-making is not influenced by campaign contributions, but UTC psychology professor Bart Weathington says that claim is contradicted by research into how all people react to gifts.
I start to get stressed, my heart rate pumps up, and all of that stuff motivates me to come back to this perception of equilibrium, to balance this equation.
Weathington says that this need to keep a balance is everywhere in our lives. It's kind of like why businesses take potential clients out to lunch.
And in politics, it's why schedules are filled with benefit dinners. Let's say a candidate hosts a $1,000 plate event. With the high price tag, the big wallets in the room expect to have their voices heard.
The more money you give, the more face time you have in that process. And so obviously I'm going to understand your concerns more.
You're really looking for access. And that is, do I move in front of the line?
Tom Griscom worked in Washington for more than a decade with Tennessee Senator Howard Baker and in the Reagan administration.
Don't worry so much about how much money you raise. It's all about disclosure. People ought to see where your money came from.
The way Griscom sees it, the focus should be on who's doing the giving.
Why is this person getting that much money from one particular group?
The game changed in 2010 when a Supreme Court decision led to the creation of super PACs, which can spend unlimited amounts of money raised from corporations, unions, special interests, and wealthy individuals. Griscom says that super PAC money often shows up as attack ads.
I'm going to attack you, and then I'm going to put just a host of money behind it to try to overwhelm you or overwhelm another candidate so that you can't respond to it.
Voted against the first Gulf War.
If free speech is a conversation, those ads represent a scream.
Is that what we're voting for? Is that who we're electing? Is somebody who's the lesser of two evils?
So how can regular people be heard through all that noise? Well, if we can't compete with the big money, we can at least learn how to follow the paper trail.
The voter can decide for themselves whether they think you're for sale or you're being bought out by special interest.
So it's up to the voters like us to be interested and compelled to read into the finances of the people that we put in power and see what groups have an interest in them. So to do that, go to newschannel9.com. There you'll find everything that you need to know to be a well-informed voter. Calvin?
Thanks, Drew. And we also posted responses from several area politicians on the topic of campaign finances. You can also read them at newschannel9.com as well.